This is the 5th episode of Versus Video Series. This is the Warzone Styx Show. Our channel is now the IT Fighting Arena. We're gonna make them fight till death. And this is for those who are into hacking, penetration testing, or cybersecurity in general. Which one is the better Linux distro? In the blue corner, we have Kali Linux, and the red corner, we have Parrot OS. I already expect that many people will say it depends on each individual's preference, but what we want to know is, you, as a user who probably tried both, which one has the edge? What are their advantages and disadvantages? And yeah, both are Debian-based, and with pre-installed hacking/offensive security tools. For those who are new to this channel, welcome. I am your host. Name is Dean Armada, and I'm the internet. Action Star. And on this channel, we talk about tech careers and certifications, trivia and tutorials in cybersecurity, trivia and tutorials in cloud and data center, and my journey as an IT instructor. So feel free to check out the rest of the channel and consider subscribing. Now, how do we know which one is better? It's very simple. We just need to do Google search. And I am specific to Kali Linux versus Parrot OS on Reddit. We're gonna check what's the existing discussion in Reddit. So we have many results. Look at that. Okay. Oh yeah, it's actually up to the second page. But what I'm gonna do is I will just select the first 4 or first 5 result, but other qualification would be, it should be this year or last year. So this year is 2023 or already, so we will only select 2022 and 2023 discussion. So this is not qualified. This one is still qualified. What else? This one, September of 2022, August of 2022. Okay, and this one, January of 2023. Okay, and I think this is good enough. All right, so the first discussion here from Swedish Massacre. So hi guys and girls, would you recommend Kali or Parrot? And let's check some of the comments here. All right. Honestly, it's really preference based. I would suggest you give both a shot for a period. Okay, so I don't really appreciate this kind of response. Why? Because this guy is asking for your opinion. Okay, and you, as a user, probably an expert who already used both, he wants to know what's your thought. Which one is better? Which one is your preference? Anyway, so let's continue. This guy, I have used Kali for a while, just started using Parrot. Every program I use in Kali is also on Parrot, but seems like Parrot has a couple extra resources that Kali doesn't. Parrot seems a little faster, and if you're going to need to write programs, Parrot has a better development tools. All right, nice one. This is a good feedback. Next one, it's important to remember that both are just Debian based, okay, like what we already mentioned. It says it doesn't really matter which one you prefer, but for training, Kali or Parrot are both great, so just whatever. Okay, doesn't matter. Parrot is lighter, more secure, and larger tool set, especially for development. Okay, so this guy, his preference is Parrot over Kali. Kali or Parrot is of no consequence. They are basically the same OS. Okay, use the one that doesn't have an expired certificate. It's fine. I'm sure they'll get it by end of the day. Try both and see which one you prefer. Okay. As others have pointed, I really don't think it's a personal preference. They're both Debian distros. Yada yada. Let's go down to the last part of his comment. I think Parrot is slightly more lightweight and better looking. So it is the main VM that I run. Okay. Next, both are good. They both do the same thing and are good at it. Okay, give both a shot. Parrot is more nuanced and better suited for someone who knows exactly what they want to do and how to do it. I suggest Backtrack. Backtrack is the former name of Kali way back in the 90s or early 2000s, as it has an established learning curve, tons of documentation, and most of the tools will work as expected. And saying I'm not saying one is better than the other. Just as a noob, you can save yourself the trouble and learn the established platform, which is Kali. Kali is more established. I would prefer. I would assume, excuse me, because it's longer maintained since Backtrack compared to Parrot OS. Okay, Black Arc, nah, it's not one of the options. I personally went using Kali distro, excuse me, Linux distro I was already familiar with, and since it's available on it, I added Black Arc. No one's asking for Black Arc. I like Parrot. Out of the two, that being said, I'm not that much of a hacker. I like it because it's got a lot of tools and set up for programming. Okay, I'm just starting my education cybersecurity. I'm not familiar with any of this. All right. None. Learn Linux. Kali Live or virtual machines. Straight to the point. Kali's for pros and Parrot is for rainbows. Nice one. For a beginner guy, I don't think there's much of a difference between this operating system. Try both and pick the one you like, but I would recommend you to use Kali Linux. If you're not for the default wallpaper, Parrot wins here, would have hard time knowing the difference. Alright, so he's pointing out that they use almost the same tools. But here's also saying Parrot has a better default wallpaper. Yeah, Kali, Parrot, Ubuntu, they're all pretty much the same. If you want different, then try Gentoo. Anyway, so he prefers Parrot here. Played around with both, but I like Kali more right now. 70% of it just works. Use whatever distro. Okay. Kali is really the best distro to use in offensive security, but as a noob, I advise you to start out with Ubuntu. Okay, Kali is his preference. Alright, oh, there was actually a question underneath. By the time you're going to penetration testing, it really shouldn't make a difference. Weren't installed, used to load tools that weren't installed on Kali, but it's not the case anymore. Or not that I really look at the difference as worth considering. Alright, so this is the first discussion, very interesting. Let's go to the next one. Kali Linux or Parrot OS, which one should I start with? Alright, so first comment, it really doesn't matter. Personally, I would choose Kali because of its slick design. Go with the basic Linux. This is the way. I've been using Ubuntu. Kali and Parrot are both based on Debian. Alright, I've used Kali and the difference is minimal. Alright, he has a point. It's more of which one do you prefer? But again, as a cybersecurity or experienced cybersecurity, which one do you recommend, especially for beginners or for those who are just starting cybersecurity career? Alright, there's really not much of a difference. Both are Debian based, so your terminal experience will be pretty much the same. You can apply all of the Kali documentation and tutorials equally on Parrot. The only upper hand here is I think Parrot offers. You mentioned a lighter demand on your hardware. Okay. Dang, I never logged into Kali and said, man, I wish there were more tools. So basically both operating system or distro has enough tools for penetration testers or cybersecurity professionals. If you install on bare metal, then maybe choose Parrot, since kind of target general users as well as pen testers. So yeah, this is one of the advantages of Parrot OS. Honestly, it starts with the command line, get to know before doing anything. Okay, Kali has fallen behind on their apps, Most of their default repos apps are grossly outdated. Really? That being said, Kali has a better adaptation. If you find a tool, it's probably been built with Kali in mind and it might work out of the box. As per Parrot, you might have to track down libs and stuff that author assume they might install by default. All right. If you're not familiar with Linux, Ubuntu or Bombal. All right, maybe Kali, just to avoid curveballs in your tutorials. Kali is more refined and stable than Parrot OS. Okay, it says here you should start with Kali Linux. Okay, straight to the point. There are many other pen testers who probably find more tutorials on Kali than any other. Okay, so this guy. Long comment here. First, I want to say that I agree with Mr. Locke about starting just regular Linux distro, such as Mint. But he also mentioned here, I use Kali and have since it was backtracked. And it has always seems more refined for lack of a better term. Even with the fact that I favor Kali, I do not use as many regular OS. Okay. Same thing, try both, but I prefer Kali with Genome. Taking advantage of the post, does anyone know if it's possible to install Kali or Parrot on an external SSD? Well, out of discussion. Okay, this is straight to the point. Kali. I would prefer to go with Kali Linux. Parrot OS is much lighter, but tools-wise, Kali has a better options. Okay, this one also straight to the point. Parrot OS. Parrot OS, if you want to give your virtual machine low resources. Okay, and here I would recommend learning both, but start with Kali because I have yet to see any academic or professional training use Parrot OS. Actually, it's Hack the Box. We're going to talk about this later. So, Kali is more for certifications, training, etc. So, I would say Kali has an edge when it comes to Linux distro being used in learning, academics, and courses, certifications, etc. But Parrot OS is also used on other academics and training. Again, the best example is Hack the Box. All right, it says here, Parrot if you're installing on bare metal. Kali if you're virtualizing. I'm a Parrot gang, but I've only been hacking for the last year. Okay, in my humble opinion, it really depends if you're going to start your education with offensive security or hack the box. So see, for offensive security, especially if you're going for certifications such as OSCP or OSWE, of course, they use Kali Linux. Why? Because the organization Offensive Security maintains Kali Linux, and of course, they're the one who provide the certification, the Offensive Security Certified Professional or OSCP, OSW, etc. OS means Offensive Security. All right, for Hack the Box, they use Parrot OS. Okay, just start with any OS. I prefer Parrot because it's lightweight. Okay, I believe that is probably the main advantages of Parrot OS. Kali is good for penetration testing, but Parrot is good for security purposes. What do you mean? Maybe for analysis or for threat hunting? I don't know, because if you say security, it's generic, it's too broad. Go with Parrot OS if you're first time so you can learn more easily. Then move to Kali Linux. Okay. Parrot Security or Parrot OS would be my go-to install. It really just depends, but I run VM, so I have both. Okay. Hello to all who read this. It's just asking question. All right, so this guy, last comment. For beginners, you should use Kali Linux. All right, so let's go to the third discussion here. Kali Linux or Parrot. If you are a beginner, then choose the mainstream. When he says mainstream, this is the more popular one, which is Kali Linux. Okay. Go for Parrot OS. If you want, go for Parrot OS Home. Probably is referring to website. If you want to learn Linux but also have the possibility to install pen testing tools easily, Parrot Home is great. Oh, what's Parrot Home? Maybe Parrot OS. Also stable since it uses Debian. Well, Kali is also using Debian. But anyway, so this guy prefers Parrot OS. Kali is very known and I love it. I use it personally most of the time, but due to bias preference, if you ask me, Parrot OS is awesome. Alright, so he used both but prefers Parrot OS. Personally, I prefer Kali. Try both. Okay, and here are some of the reason why he prefers Kali. Kali is easier on his eyes. Kali is not designed as a daily driver. We already know that. Kali is nowhere as bloated as Parrot. I also find that Kali isn't much of resource hog, which is important. This actually contradicts some of the comment of some of the comment who prefers Parrot OS, because they were saying that Parrot OS is lighter. Okay, but this guy prefers Kali. Here's the thing: this hacking distros are pretty much regular Linux with bunch of tools. Okay, and Kali is just Ubuntu and Parrot is just Debian. You're so wrong, because Kali and Parrot OS are both Debian based. Okay, and you probably get a comment here. This is not totally true. So yeah, we are correct. Both distros are Debian based. Okay. Anyway, let's go to the next. Windows 98. Yeah, I guess he's right. Better distro for hacking and penetration testing. RIP Parrot. I guess this goes to Kali Linux. I use many regular Arc. Nah, we don't like. Arc is not one of the options. So let's skip this. Alright, Ubuntu is also not one of the options. I would choose Parrot OS. It is much easier to set up. If you aren't already familiar with Linux, I recommend just use something like Ubuntu. Okay, and what else? However, the beauty of Kali is that it has pretty much everything out of the box, so it can be much easier to use if you are in CTS or part of HackSock. Don't get me wrong, Parrot is beautiful, but it's usually more withstand worthwhile to learn in the industry ladder. I think that goes for most things. Alright. I only have experience with Kali, but I will say using any distros for daily use will help you get familiarized with Linux. Alright, next. Where's the option of running any OS and learning how to install tools as well? Anyway. Okay, Parrot Security OS looks better, more tools, more customizable, lightweight, more default packages you can automatically install like curl, wget, Python 3, etc. This guy here, do not install Kali on your physical machine. Never used Parrot before, but Kali is a tool and shouldn't be used as a daily driver. So meaning Kali is most of the time installed as a virtual machine. Alright, last discussion. This is subreddit for Hack the Box. Okay, anyway. So this guy here is asking, I recently started CPT track, Hack the Box. There are several references to Parrot, but haven't seen any Kali yet. Well, it's because the Parrot OS is tied to Hack the Box. Okay, it says here, both Parrot and Kali are great Linux distro for pen testing. You can do with any distros. How much Hack the Box has some sort of partnership, like what I mentioned, partnership with Parrot Linux or Parrot OS. It comes down to your preference. I personally prefer Parrot. Okay, and I think Hack the Box has ties to Parrot OS, like what I mentioned. Okay, both are Debian based distribution for Linux kernel. All right, yeah, like what I mentioned, training, the Hack the Box training uses Parrot OS. Pick one, it doesn't matter. I think that's irrelevant. Most of the case you will use OpenVPN. Okay, this guy used Kali. I try to use Parrot, I really do. It just can't as stable and customizable as Kali. Alright, Kali has been to the de facto for years. For a reason, is what they do. Parrot, on the other hand, is just after more users, so they create the Parrot Security OS to entice people. Kali is smoother, has everything you need, and built for that single purpose. Alright, this guy, you can use whatever you want on the exam. Alright, it actually doesn't recommend any distro. Alright, so last one. Both are the same. Outside Hack the Box, I use Kali. On Hack the Box, I use Parrot. And he says, or he also mentioned, Kali is the gold standard most for professional use. The advantages of Parrot OS is first, it's more lightweight, so it would save more resources. What else? Better for development tools. Better for bare metal installation. And lastly, Parrot OS is tied to Hack the Box. Alright, for Kali Linux, they say it has less bugs, better documentation and support, and more stable. It's more popular, and people would call it as the industry standard. There is no industry standard for Linux. It's the Linux distro if you're preparing for offensive security certifications, such as OSCP, OSEP, OSWE, and many more. But the winner is... yeah. To be honest with you, both distros have so many tools, and you won't be needing all of it. Personally, I tried both, but the reason why I use Kali Linux is because I keep telling myself that I would go for OSWE or OSWA soon.